It looks like we're starting to get a couple participants. So my name is Allison Gordon. The organizers today decided to reward people who came in early or on time by having some musical entertainment. So I'm going to entertain you for a couple minutes and then I'm going to kick it off to the formal intro and the presentation by Father Mike from Hungry Monk Rescue Truck. This song in the last couple weeks, it's a very 2020 song. 2020 has been a year of so much uncertainty. And when there's uncertainty, people, they try to increase their luck however they can and they start to fall back on old superstitions. And one of the oldest superstitions in the book of sailors is don't bring bananas on the boat. Very, very bad luck. So this song is called No Bananas on My Boat. It's a very specific song. I don't believe in superstition, but no bananas on my boat. No need to ask Neptune for permission. No bananas on my boat. Sailing on the sea, feeling oh so free. Right until the mast fell down on me. Oh, 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 oh. I don't believe in superstition, but no bananas on my boat. I don't care if your cat is black, no bananas on my boat. I don't care if your mirror's cracked, no bananas on my boat. Riding on the blue, having fun with you. But when you took a leak, the boat did too. Oh, 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 oh. I don't believe in superstition, but no bananas on my boat. I don't care if the day's 13, step on a crack or in between, no bananas on my boat. Sailing on the waves, we anchored for a day. Hey, why is my boat floating away? Oh, 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 oh. I don't believe in superstition, but no bananas on my boat. No bananas on my boat. Thank you so much for joining. This is 10 by 10. I'm going to pass it along now to Sarah and Sophie.
Allison, thank you so much. That was great. Welcome everyone. I'm Sarah Galb, and along with Sophie Target Adams, we head up 10 by 10 in New York. We want to welcome you to our inaugural 10 by 10 digital campaign. On behalf of our entire committee, we're all on the line here today. Yvonne, Devin, Monica, Avery, Mo, Emra, and TJ. We would like to thank all of you for joining us and supporting Hungry Monk. We've had 8 amazing days of events, so hopefully you were all able to join various fitness, nutrition, and mixology classes that all of our instructors so graciously donated. We're thrilled to be here with you all tonight on Zoom to continue the 10 by 10 movement in this virtual environment.
So hi everyone, I'm Sophie Target Adams. So we have a jam-packed virtual agenda for you this evening. So thank you so much for joining us and for your time. So hopefully we'll have a lot of fun on this call tonight. But before we kick over, we do want to hand over to our 10 by 10 philanthropy founder, Laurie Marshbaum, who's going to say a few words about our company's mission and why we're so thankful for your support tonight.
Hi everyone, and thank you, Allison, for the beautiful introduction. And thank you all, each of you, for creating the space and taking the time out of your days and your evenings to come together in this virtual community, to come together to be of service to your own community in New York and those people that are doing really important work, helping those that are most vulnerable at this really important time. 10 by 10 was founded when about 6 years ago, when I returned to Australia and wanted to do something to be of service to my own community. And there were 2 problems. that I saw that I wanted to try and solve. And the first was that I really genuinely believe that all of us, all young professionals, all young people want to do good. We want to be involved in social change, philanthropy, to give back, to live lives of deeper purpose and meaning. But we all lack the time, the knowledge, and the infrastructure to do so in a way that's meaningful to us and that makes a difference. And the other problem we wanted to try and solve is that we generally believe that social change happens from the grassroots up. That in local communities everywhere, there are heroes like Father Mike you're going to hear from tonight that go to a place in community where they see a need. These heroes exist in Brooklyn, in Venice Beach, Los Angeles, in Sydney, Australia, Hong Kong, Adelaide, Brisbane, all places where 10 by 10 now exists. And we exist to serve these local heroes in community, who create these organizations to help those people in our communities that are most vulnerable. And all these organizations struggle with the same problem. They lack the fundraising capability, the resources and the know-how to tell people about the amazing work that they do and to raise the funds that are crucial to sustain their ongoing impact. So we decided to create a movement. Our concept, simple. 10 people would get 10 friends to give $100, 10 by 10. And tonight, I think we're already nearly at reaching that target of $10,000. And when we originally created this concept, we had live in-person events and we'd get people together and these three organizations would pitch to the audience. When everyone arrived, we would give them their $100 back in the way of two $50 charity vouchers. And the audience would be empowered to decide where they would give their money. And now, in the new world we find ourselves in, our organization was hit with a tremendous challenge. An organization that was always created this incredible energy of people coming together physically to meet has had to pivot to a model that's digital. And each of you that have created the space out of your days today to be part of this movement, to create some time, to create some space, to give back to your own community, are now part of this movement, which we hope can continue to grow and continue to impact. The one thing that the COVID crisis has taught us is that the people that are most vulnerable in our communities everywhere are those that are most at risk. So we come together today in support of Hungry Monk Food Truck, of the incredible work of Father Mike and the work that they're doing feeding the homeless, the needy, and the hungry in New York City. I myself, I'm coming to you from Sydney, but I've spent a lot of time living in New York, and it's a place that's incredibly dear to my heart. And I know that the city is redefining itself now. So I ask each of you to be part of the community that can come together at this time to support it, to support 10 by 10, and to continue the impact that we are making in New York and in the world. Thank you, and let's have a great event.
So as part of our process, our committee researched lots of organizations in the lead up, but we chose to work with the Hungry Monk because right now, at this moment in time, with COVID, especially with this recent social justice movement, we all agreed that meeting the need for nutritious food, clean water, and shelter was now more important than ever. So later tonight, you'll be hearing from speakers from the Hungry Monk and my team who will explain the various ways that you can support the cause. So without further ado, we would love to introduce Father Mike and Danielle of the Hungry Monk Rescue Truck, who are here with us tonight. Thank you so much for all that you do and for being here with us tonight.
Thank you for having us.
Hi, Father Mike. This is Mo. Nice to finally meet you. To start us off, if you could talk a little bit about, what motivates you to serve, what brought you to this mission?
When we planted our parish here in the Ridgewood area about 7 years ago, I was mistaken for another Father Mike who lived in the community. And he kind of looked like me, but it was a little bit less handsome. And some of the local street partners came up to me and they were yelling at me and they were saying, Father Mike, and I thought maybe I had known them from another church or from another reality canoe. And they came up to me and they told me that they were hungry. So we noticed that there was this group of men living on the street right around the corner from our church and that we wanted to lend them a hand. So we started doing a out of the door sandwich program on Sundays before church started. and that began to grow and grow. We grew a rapport with the local street partners and the local food pantry operations and some of the local soup kitchen, and so we got off the ground. If you would have asked me when I was at 8 years old what kind of priest I would have been, I would have told you that I would have been a priest who was going to hang out in the church and say mass on Sundays and hear confessions and castigate people for doing bad things. I probably never would have told you that I would have been the type of priest that I am today, who's working amongst the poorest of the poor in our community, not only in our community now locally, but citywide, essentially. And I think the real motivation simply comes from the fact that there are people out there who are in need. We have the ability to move our bodies and to really put ourselves in action. I tell people jokingly, this is not your grandmother's food pantry. We are young adults, for the most part, from various backgrounds, many of whom are de-church persons, so it's not a church thing anymore. It really has become a community effort. We have some amazing partners locally. Ridgewood is a community that's quickly gentrifying and quickly growing, and the demographic here is changing. And when we took off with our COVID-19 task force, we really saw a tremendous amount of support from the local community. So, as far as I'm concerned, what really drives and motivates this work is that there are people in need, and we have the ability to serve them. There's no brain surgery behind it. There's no science behind it. We knew that we had the energy. We had a beat up old truck that we can put stuff in, and we have people who are willing to do good work. So, if there's anything that I would really owe this work to, is the amount of people behind me. Starting with the young lady next to me, Danielle, who's our director of operations, who has been our superstar in really getting us organized and really creating the impact that we've created in the past 169 days of continual work. So we just want to keep serving the people as long as the need is there. We were excited about a month ago when we saw the numbers declining, and now we see the numbers going back uphill again. So we're a little concerned about that, especially in a local community that is very immigrant heavy. And so, we're just dedicated to continue moving on as long as we can.
Thank you. Special shout out to Danielle. She was very integral in getting this partnership put together and off the ground. So ton of work done behind the scenes for us as well. So sounds like you're helping everybody out. On that note, since we have almost 60 people on the line here and political support has fallen short, what other types of organizations or partnerships would be helpful in growing your outreach? Maybe there's someone on the line that has the ability to make that connection.
Well, if there's anybody out there in the gasoline world, we need gas for our trucks. That's very important. In all seriousness, we just need all sorts of help, continually. Obviously, funding is a major source of help, bringing in the money so that we know where we can allocate stuff and purchase the things that we need to purchase and so on and so forth. But there are tons of other things, like if I won't show you our setup right now, our technology setup, but this phone that we're on, because we're not on a computer, because we don't have Wi-Fi at the office, obviously, is being held up by 2 food boxes and a car cell phone holder thing, right? So there's like tech support that we need. We'd love to help with some tech savvy so we can upgrade our websites and that sort of stuff. We'd love to be able to have some help and resources in marketing the services that we do, not so much selling our services, but letting the community know what we have available so that they can come if they're in need. We'd love to pair up with other organizations who have been saying, we want to do this work. We don't know how to get it off the ground. We'd love to support other organizations. That's so important for us. Coming from the mindset that I had probably most of my life, that I can do all things alone, I now know that that's the stupidest thing that I've ever said to myself. I know that I need a team. I need a Danielle. I need a Johnny who's on the other side of the camera. I need the 70-somewhat volunteers we have to make this happen. And we really are not an island. Particularly if we've learned anything at this time of COVID, is that we have to reach out. We have to share. We have to come together. So if there's anybody out there who wants to do this work, I don't care where in the world you are. We have a Hungry Monk rescue truck in St. Louis. We have a Hungry Monk rescue truck that we hope to get out to Colorado. The priest there who was about to take a truck back in March actually contracted COVID and was in the hospital for 3 months. Thank God he survived and is doing much better, but we hope to get a truck out there. I'd love to see a Hungry Monk rescue truck in every big city in the US, particularly where there is a need in food insecurity, where there is, visible street homeless populations that need our services. So if there's anybody out there who wants to join the team, if there's anybody out there who can lend us those tech resources and those other things, and of course, if there's anyone out there in the food world, we've become food people now, so we can always use that support as well.
That's awesome. Hopefully out of the 60 some people that are on the call, we can help get some of that to you down the road. But would love to hear about a community member that maybe touched your heart, that gave a little bit of lightness during the pandemic.
There's so many stories I can tell. One in particular, and I don't know if this fits your question, but there was a gentleman who, when he found out that we were going to open a 15-bed men's bed stabilization program in his community, became very aggressive and started a campaign against us. He went to the local precinct, the police precinct. He went to the local electeds. He started flyering the neighborhood with these lies that the men that we were going to house are going to come and take their kids away and all kind of craziness. That gentleman, I think the date was maybe, I think it was March 21st, March 22nd, stood on the line of our food pantry. And my first feeling was like, how dare you come on this line knowing that you are so against what we were doing. And I just kind of sat and watched what was happening, and I thought maybe he was coming to stir up some trouble, but he came because he had a genuine need for food for his family. And he received the bag from the person at the gate, is what we call it. We had a police barricade in front of our gate at the beginning. He received the bag from this gentleman named Gilly, who's one of our homeless partners who lives in our homeless shelter program. And this man who came, who was so against what we were doing, received a bag from one of the men that he was protesting. And that's probably something, I had a aha moment right then and there where I said that, as a priest, I'm fulfilled. As a food pantry guy, I'm fulfilled. If I die right now, I know that I'm okay, because I saw the tremendous amount of love that this man was receiving from someone he was protesting. And so that always stands out in my mind as a very strong image of the work we're doing. A lot of the men who we serve in our bed programs have stepped up tremendously as volunteers. They were our core first volunteer group, and they've made a tremendous impact in the work that we're doing. And so, I'll remember that gentleman. I won't name his name here because he might be watching, but I really remember that moment. I remember that moment, and there was sort of this strange moment of reconciliation and healing, I think, in his head. He looked at me and he kind of told me with his eyes, what he was thinking. So that's one of the things that there immediately comes to my mind when that question is asked.
That's really powerful. Thank you for sharing that. And just one final question. When do the two of you rest?
There's no rest for the wicked is my slogan. And so, we work. A typical day is up early. I'm usually out the door by 6 a.m. I start my morning with a cigar and a coffee and my morning prayer in the truck. And that usually is on the way to the pantry, and we just get to work. Danielle is working 24/7, a lot of tremendous behind the scenes work. So we're really, it's fair to say that we're doing, 12 hours a day, at least 6 days a week. And, we have a good time. So it doesn't feel too much like work.
Oh, great. Well, thank you so much for, stepping up to have this conversation with all of us and tell us a little bit more about your organization. It's been such an honor to get to know you guys and your organization. And on behalf of the committee, it's been really a wonderful experience doing what we can to help out in this moment of need. So thanks again for your time, and really appreciate you guys joining us tonight.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Do good.
So a little bit more levity, we'll be sharing a musical experience with a friend of mine, JT Roach. He's a singer-songwriter by trade, and so he'll be sharing some of his original music with us tonight.
Hey guys, I'm singer-songwriter JT Roach. I'm from Madison, Wisconsin, but I live in Los Angeles, California I've lived in Los Angeles, California for the last 6 years. I'm currently at my family's cabin in Northwoods, Wisconsin on lake in Minocqua. So that's where I'm coming from. So if you hear my dog barking, or if you hear chipmunks, or, my neighbors hammering on their porch, that's because I'm up here in the Northwoods. I'm I want to say thank you to my friend Maureen Mulhern for inviting me to play a little acoustic set for you guys. She told me a little bit about Father Mike and Hungry Monk Charity, and just how much they're doing for the community right now, that they've tripled the size of their normal operation during COVID-19, how much they're doing to help with unemployment that's hitting lower income communities. They're tripling their homelessness outreach services and bed stabilization program over the next year. So anything that we can do to donate, whether it's donate or volunteer, I think everybody just needs a little bit of extra help during this crazy time right now, and we're all doing the best that we can. So anything that you can do to help is greatly appreciated. So yeah, I'm gonna do what I can. I'm gonna play just a handful of acoustic songs for you guys. This first song is a song I wrote called Symmetry. I wrote it with my friend Emily Warren. Heard your voice in my head saying don't be afraid to tell the truth. I should have held my tongue. Now I'm laying in bed all alone, and I can hardly move, thinking what I've done. But we play games and we make shapes on different sides, and we prefer all our colors outside the lines. We fight each other like oil and water, but you and me got chemistry, and if we scatter, it doesn't matter, 'cause you and me got symmetry. When you talk like you do, you should know it shows up on my face when you're not around. But I'll break all the rules if you hold me and you tell me all the ways you'll take away the doubt. But we play games and we make shapes on different sides, and we prefer all our colors outside the lines. We fight each other like oil and water, but you and me got chemistry, and if we scatter, it doesn't matter, 'cause you and me got symmetry. Cool, that's the first song. It's called Symmetry. I'm just checking to make sure my battery's not dying. Oh, no, my battery is not dying. Up next, I'm going to play a short version of a song that I sang on NBC Songland. The song is called Somebody to Love. I went on the show and played it for Ryan Tedder and One Republic to pitch the record to them, and I ended up winning the episode. So One Republic put this song out, so technically it's their song, but I wrote the original demo and the original version, so I'll play a little bit of it for you guys. And if you want to go check me out on season 1 of NBC Songland, you can watch the One Republic episode, which is the finale episode, and you can see me sing it and perform it for them. And then, spoiler alert, they cut it and they put it out, and you can see them playing it at Red Rocks in Colorado at the end of the episode. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you had a great time. Please make a donation or volunteer, whatever you can do to help. We all really appreciate it. Thank you, Mo. Thank you, Father Mike and Hungry Monk Charity. My name is JT Roach, and this is Somebody to Love. Never could imagine the way the story happened. You were someone new.
used to be a focus. Now you don't even notice when I leave the room. You weren't even trying to make me jealous, but you can't help it, you can't help it. And it kills me to know that you found somebody to love, somebody to love. Tell me, how can I go on without somebody to love, somebody to love, somebody to love, somebody to love. They say that love comes easy whenever it comes easy, and I can see it on your face. And I don't want you to be lonely, but right now I'm the only one who feels this way. And I ain't even trying to make you miss me, make you miss me. I know a history, but it kills me to know that you found somebody to love, somebody to love. Tell me, how can I go on without somebody to love, somebody to love, somebody to love, somebody to love, somebody to love. Thank you guys so much for listening. Please make a donation. And yeah, everybody take care of yourselves. Take care of your physical, mental health. Take care of your loved ones. And yes, please make a donation and volunteer. Peace.
Well, I hope everyone has the warm and fuzzies now after being inspired by Father Mike and Danielle and hearing he wrote. Now let's take that inspiration and put it to good use. So now I'll turn it over to Monica, who will talk about volunteer opportunities.
Fantastic. Thank you, Mo. Over these last few weeks, 10 by 10 has collaborated with Hungry Monk Rescue Truck to create volunteer opportunities based on the organization's immediate and short-term needs so that we can continue to support the organization following this campaign. If you are able to donate your time and your resources, please do consider the following remote and in-person opportunities, which include pantry distribution, food pickups and drop-offs, as Father Mike referenced earlier, a real estate scout as the organization looks to expand its facilities going forward, and with the winter holiday season fast approaching, coordinators for coat drives, and volunteers for holiday meal preparation as well. You can find a section dedicated to all of our volunteer listings through our 10 by 10 campaign webpage, as well as email communications. Each listing links to a volley.com posting with additional details and the time requirement required for each opportunity. Thank you again. We really hope you can continue to stay involved with 10 by 10 and the Hungry Monk Rescue Truck. And Sophie, Sarah, I'll pass it along to you.
Thanks so much, Monica. Thank you all so much for joining us here tonight. I just wanted to provide a quick update. We're currently at 8,257 as of right now on our Give Lively page, but we actually have another $1,000 that has been pledged privately offline, so that should come through soon. As well as we have corporate donation or corporate matching from our from the various companies that we work with. So we're looking really good. But if you haven't donated already, either financially or with your time to volunteer, we would love to have you do so. So whether you go on to Volley or go on to Give Lively, we're here to help the Hungry Monk Rescue Truck further their mission and continue to support the expanded demand for their services in the times of COVID. Finally, you know, we've we as a committee have put in a ton of work to create this digital platform, and we're really proud of what we've accomplished. So I first of all want to thank our committee, but I also want to put the plug out there for anyone who wants to get involved in 10 by 10. We are looking for the next committee. So if you like what you've seen, if you binge one of our live events, or if you've only seen this digital version and you want to get involved, please put your name in the chat box. We can also put in there the email address where you could send us a note to let us know that you're interested. But we are looking to continue our digital journey with 10 by 10 so that we can continue to support grassroots organizations in our community who are making innovative social change in their communities. So we hope that you'll join us again. We hope that you'll volunteer with Hungry Mug and with 10 by 10. And thank you all again so much for being with us here tonight. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, Father Mike, Danielle, and everyone who joined.
Thank you guys so
Thank
much. It was a
you.
pleasure. We appreciate you. Peace.
Thank you.